The first Grade 1 race of the 2021-2022 season in South Africa takes place at Kenilworth on Saturday, the 4th of December, featuring the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas over 1,600 metres. The off-time for race 5 at Kenilworth is 15:25, a great day's racing. We see the return of Rainbow Bridge and Jet Dark and Linebacker in the Greenpoint Stakes, two exceptionally strong Pinnacle Stakes. We've got the Southern Cross and, of course, the Cape Summer Stayers. We'll be having a look at all of those races, and joining me in the studio is Rahil. We're going to start with the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas, and obviously Desert Miracle has arrived in town. I can tell you I had a chat with Mike de Kock. She arrived in Cape Town on Wednesday morning. I then followed that up with a further call with Mike yesterday. No excuses from that perspective. Travelled well. Clearly the form is for all to see. Obviously this is a chance for us to match the Western Cape form with the Highveld and KZN form for that matter, because Desert Miracle has been supreme in both of those provinces. Tough to beat, Desert Miracle?
I say that she is a filly to beat. I wouldn't say she is tough to beat because Amanzam Toti is an improving filly. She's won her last two starts and she won a nice race last time out, beating Chansonnet. So Amanzam Toti is a big runner. So I think it's a race between the two, and they are the top two in the betting market.
Well, Desert Miracle's very short at 9-20, Amanzam Toti at 6-1. Both have wonderful pedigrees. Desert Miracle by Dynasty out of Welwitschia, and Amanzam Toti, of course, by Trippy out of that wonderful race mare who was trained here in KwaZulu-Natal by Dennis Dreyer, Beach Beauty. Beach Beauty, of course, is also already the Dam of Guineas winner in the form of Wild Coast, so she's got her stud career off to a brilliant start. As you say, Amanzam Toti was very impressive in the Western Cape Fillies Championship. I was actually at Kenilworth on that day when she drew clear in the latter stages to beat Chansonnet by 2 1/4 lengths. Now, we chatted to Candice Bass-Robinson before coming on air. She's obviously concerned about the 12 draw. That certainly gives Desert Miracle a slight edge. Desert Miracle is drawn in gate 6, Amanzam Toti drawn in gate 12. But she did explain that Amanzam Toti likes to be given a chance, come from off the pace, run at them in the closing stages. So those will be the tactics. Amanzam Toti is going to be giving Desert Miracle start into the straight.
Yes, that's the only concern, because Desert Miracle does have the better draw, and I don't think you want to be giving such a top-class filly and an improving filly so much of start. But I definitely think Amanzam Toti will run a really honest race and give Desert Miracle a good run for money.
Obviously, there are two negatives for Desert Miracle that may prevent her from running to her very best. Not necessarily prevent her from winning. The first is having to travel. The second is that this is her first run around a left-handed track.
Yes, it could be a concern, but Mike de Kock, he didn't share any negatives about it, so that's good, positive feedback. And I think that Desert Miracle, she's a filly that's only going to improve and get better with time, and she has a chance to show that she's really top class having a first run in the Cape.
Now, when we chatted to Candice, she did say to me, listen, Graham, she said, dance till daylight, don't ignore, certainly as far as trifectas and quartets are concerned. She's convinced there's not too much to choose between Amanzam Toti and Dance Till Daylight. She did say that Jet for Time has obviously got quite a lot to find. We also chatted to Justin Snaith off air, and Maria Querol is their stable elect, but he was very firm in his view that Desert Miracle is going to be tough to beat. So shall we say it's Desert Miracle to win from Amanzam Toti and Dance Till Daylight, that sort of result?
Yes, I think you could possibly get that result. Dance Till Daylight, such an improving filly, and Cracker last time out in the Ready to Run Stakes, so definitely one that you got to throw in.
Race 6 on the card is the World Sports Betting Live Casino Southern Cross Stakes. It's a Grade 2 sprint for fillies and mares over 1,000 metres, and that is due off at 4 o'clock. And it's a wide open race. They're betting 9-2 the field. Top of the boards, Vernici and Capitana. Now, we spoke to Brett Crawford. Capitana doing really, really well at home. One little concern, he believes that Capitana could be better over 1,200 metres. So Rail, as you heard when we were chatting to him, he really hopes the pace is on from the get-go. That will certainly stand number 3 Capitana in good stead. Anton Marcus did have the choice between Capitana and Kitty Cat Chat, and very comfortably went with Capitana. But Venishi, can she bounce back?
I would think that she can bounce back. She definitely does have the ability. She's a class filly, second run in the Cape, and under a new trainer of Adam Marcus, she could be in the mix, but I prefer a few others. Capitana, like Brett Crawford, the distance is also my concern. I thought a nice lurker in this race was the Candice Bass-Robinson horse, Rolling the Hay, with Aldo Domea aboard. Back over her favourite distance, and if the pace is on, she'll be doing her best work at the finish.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Rolling the Hay, because again, we did chat. We chatted to Candice Bass-Robinson off air, we chatted to Justin Snaith, we chatted to Brett Crawford, just to get a view on their runners. Rolling the Hay's had a wind-up. Candice was quite forthright. She says she believes that Rolling the Hay is going to need the run. She's obviously had a few breathing issues. As we can see, her last 2 runs were way below her previous form. She's had that wind operation, and she could need the run. Of course, she's done enough coming into the race, but she's just a bit concerned about that. We chatted to Justin Snaith. He was delighted with Keep the Lights On's run last time out. Phil's dance he describes as a very, very tough campaigner. You can never ignore her. And then he said, watch out, guys. The upset of the race is number 12, Gimme Dat. Reverts to 1,000 meters. He believes this is her best trip, possibly, and could certainly run into the quartet. So, of all the horses that he spoke about, and he's well represented here, he couldn't stop coming back to Gimme Dat.
Yes, Gimme Dat. She's definitely a filly that I did pencil in. She receives 4 kgs from the older fillies back to the sprinter trip, which is going to suit her a lot better, like Justin did say. And I think that you can look forward to a massive run from the 3-year-old daughter of Gimme the Green Light.
Now, an interesting run is, of course, the Michael Assey-trained 4-year-old daughter, Futura Sweet Future. Forget her last run in the South African filly sprint. That was way back in June. She hasn't run since, but he's taken her all the way to Cape Town. Bernard Faye-Derb teams up with Sweet Future on very best form, and we haven't had a chance to speak to Michael, and obviously he's got other things in mind for her as well. But this is a very important race, the Southern Cross Stakes, so he'll be wanting to see the best of Sweet Future. Give her a bit of a chance?
Yes, I do give this filly a nice chance in this lineup. She's unbeaten, 2 from 2 over the 1,000-meter trip. Bernard gets in the saddle. First run after rest, but the computer form comment was that, she would run nicely. And I think that you can expect a really nice run from this filly. If you ignore her last run, her form is really good up till then. She's a 4-time winner, and I think she's going to hold her own against these older fillies here as well.
Now, just to close out the race, you mentioned Rolling the Hay from Candice Bass-Robinson. I explained that she thinks she might need the run. She's had a wind up. But Candice did say, guys, watch out for number 11, Santa Maria. She thinks that this daughter of Trippy is an interesting runner, could certainly upset the apple cart. So if you're playing it wider, don't leave out number 11, Santa Maria. Remember what I said to you about Justin Snaith's Gimme Dat. He feels Mariah will need the run. Iris Candice is expecting improvement, but she seems to prefer Santa Maria. So I think, Raheel, it's fair to say that of the Candice Bass runners, Santa Maria is probably the one most fancied. But it's a wide open renewal of the Southern Cross Stakes. Venici, Sweet Future, Capitana, Keep the Lights On, Phil's Dancer, even Kitty Cat Chat, Santa Maria and Gimme Dat. Those are the ones you're going to want to consider. It's a long list, but there are many with chances. But Brett Crawford is certainly hoping they go like the clappers in the early stages so that Capitana can run them off their feet over the last 200 metres. Race 7 is the World Sports Betting Club Privé Greenpoint Stakes over 1,600 metres. This is the race that has always traditionally opened up Rainbow Bridge's campaign for the Cape Town Met, and this year is no exception. Unfortunately, Raheel, only 5 runners, but it's not short of quality. Rainbow Bridge, Jet Dark, linebacker Seeking the Stars. Captain Fontaine thrown in the deep end by Garth Puller, but he believes he could be a Lawrence Queen's Plate runner, so you've got to go into this sort of class. You're going to meet them there, so meet them now and see where you are. Rainbow Bridge, Eric Sands has gone on record as saying he's not fully wound up. He's never won the Greenpoint Stakes. So for me, you can expect a big run from him, but I'm surprised to see he's 18-10 favourite. Linebacker 2-1, Jet Dark 22-10. We did chat to Justin Snaith. Jet Dark doing really well, in a good space, expecting him to be the horse to beat. But Vaughan Marshall will have a thing or two to say about that with linebacker and Seeking the Stars. I'm sure Seeking the Stars will go out there and make it a genuine gallop.
Yes, linebacker does seem to be the stable elect and possibly the right horse in the race. He runs well, fresh, 4 runs, 3 wins. Gets on really well with Grant van Niekerk, 4 rides for 3 wins. He's neatly drawn in gate 2. He goes well over the course and distance. So linebacker is possibly the horse that sets the standard. But I just keep coming back to Rainbow Bridge. He's one of the horses that I just seem to love. And He's been disappointing in the July. Yes, the distance hasn't been his trip. I think going over the 1600, Richard Fourie is unbeaten on him, 4 from 4. And I think Rainbow Bridge is going to run an absolute cracker. And I'm hoping that he could get the better of Linebacker in this race. But I do respect Linebacker big time.
Well, clearly, nobody's going to be surprised if Rainbow Bridge wins it. Richard Fourie gets on so well with him. Four rides, as you mentioned, he's won all 4 of them. And I know that Eric Sands is delighted to have Richard back aboard the horse. So, yeah, I guess from an exotics perspective, with all due respect to Captain Fontaine, I do think he's got a mountain to climb here. So Rainbow Bridge, Jet Dark, Linebacker, and be careful not to leave out Seeking the Stars. And I say that because in a race of this sort where Rainbow Bridge is revving up his engines, Jet Dark is revving up his engines, Linebacker is revving up his engines, if Seeking the Stars, who's very fit, gets away from them, gets a soft lead and gets away from them, he could be a tough nut to run down. So even though he's 7-1 in this small party, I would certainly throw Seeking the Stars into all jackpot and pick 6 equations. The Grade 3 race on the card is the Cape Summer Stayers Handicap over 2,500 metres. As one would expect, it's wide open. Crimson King is the early favourite at 33-10 and clearly has a chance on his current form. We chatted to Justin Snaith and to Candice Bass-Robinson. Justin had this to say: Bayberry expecting a very, very big run. He's under-respected in the marketplace. He says 6-1 is too big a price about Bayberry. Obviously, Black Napper's got a big chance at 7-2. Salvatore Mundi, Justin's not sure if he will stay. This is a race to test that. And of course, Swift Surprise has been very, very disappointing. Magnificent 7 doing well at home. So that's the news from the Justin Snaith stable. From Candice Bass-Robinson's point of view, Holy Warrior comes into the race in very good form. Very good sprint over 1,200 metres. Then a good second behind Sudden Star over 2,000 metres. Much more dome over this trip. Very fit. Near bottom weight. Holy Warrior, Candice Bass-Robinson's expecting him to have a very good each-way chance at generous odds of 8-1.
Yes, I'm glad that we did receive positive feedback from Candice Bass-Robinson on that horse, because that is actually the horse that I like in the race. Anthony Andrews takes a ride, rides him for the second time, 53 on his back, and I think that his prep into the race was really nice. That fought behind Bereave. Bereave has subsequently come out and run a cracking second in the Cape Merchants. Last time out, Southern Star just got the better of him. But I think the 2-5 is going to suit him nicely. With such a lightweight, I think that he's going to be doing his best work at the finish. He's neatly drawn in gate 5, so he will be able to get into a nice handy position. And I expect a massive run from Holy Warrior.
Crimson King is the favourite, as we mentioned, but he's got to give Holy Warrior, 6.5 kilograms. That's a bit of pudding over 2,500 metres, but there's nothing wrong, certainly, with number 2, Crimson King's form. A very good second to one of the best stayers around in Silver Host last time out. So just to wrap up then the Grade 3 Cape Summer Stayers Handicap, it is a difficult race. Pace makes the race with these Stayers events. Crimson King, despite having to give weight around, is obviously a live wire. Bayberry, Justin Snaith really likes him. Ansalazio has got a chance over this sort of distance. Black Nap has proven himself that he stays well in the Vaughan Marshall stable, continues to be in good form. And Holy Warrior really looks well weighted on 53 kilograms. Now, Raheel, before we close, there are 2 Pinnacle races that we've got to dwell on for a moment, because the third race of the card, the Amy Miller Memorial Pinnacle Stakes over 1,500 metres, could almost be a Group 1 race in itself. Great to see Captain's Ransom coming up against Princess Calla and Zarina. Now, Princess Calla and Zarina, they met in the Johnson's Workwear Garden Province Stakes. On that occasion, way back in July, Zarina beat Princess Calla a short head. Neither have raced since then. But Captain's Ransoms had a run. She was disappointing in the Garden Province Stakes, but that was below best. She made a seasonal debut with a facile victory at Durbanville, and we chatted to Justin Snaith, and he is extremely bullish. He says she is doing so well at home. Richard Fourie does retain the ride on Captain's Ransom. Fitness, get her ahead of Zarina and Princess Calla?
I think on ability-wise, she's definitely could get the better of them, and it's good to hear that Justin Snaith is really bullish about her chances in this lineup. Richard Fourie has a good record on her, 6 rides for 5 wins, so she's definitely the filly to beat. I just think that she's a keeper, could be the horse in the race with fitness on her side. Smashing run in the Cape Merchants when being the 3rd fastest to finish on that occasion. Bernard Fade Herb retains a ride, and for me, I think that she's the keeper, could be the right one in this lineup.
Wow. I have to disagree. I can't believe she's as short of 3-1, you know. And I'd be the first to congratulate the connections, Rob Knapper, Gareth Van Zyl, Bernard Fader, but I just don't see she's a keeper in the same class as Captain's Ransom. That's my view. But clearly respect for Zarina and the ever-consistent Princess Kala. But while Raheel fancies she's a keeper, and she's very well respected in the market at 3-1. In fact, she is the second favourite. Princess Kala at 7-2. Zarina easy to back at 6-1. I'm going to go and be as confident as Justin Snaith is, and suggest that with the run under the belt, Captain's Ransom fitness might get her home ahead of Princess Kala and Zarina, but I'm including 1, 2 and 3. I'm going to take a chance and leave out she's a keeper. I'm happy to be proven wrong. I don't believe she's in the class at these weights, at level weights, as Captain's Ransom, Zarina, Princess Kala, but you're looking to prove me wrong.
Yes, hopefully she's a keeper can prove you wrong, and I'm looking for a big run from her. She did run in the July after all. She wasn't disgraced, beaten 6.5 lengths by Kometi Dung, so that definitely shows that she has tons of ability, and hopefully she can cause upset, being the second favourite in the market.
Well, it's not an upset as far as the betting is concerned, but of course they've taken She's a Keeper down to the Western Cape with a purpose in mind, or the mission in mind, and they'll know exactly where they stand with She's a Keeper. She's taking on some of the best around in the form of Captain's Ransom, Zarina, Princess Kala. It might just be a Pinnacle Stakes, but it's one of the best races on the card. And then there's a Pinnacle race, race 8, Rio Karari. Comes back to racing action after the 31st of July's 5-10 in the market. Brett Crawford trains Real Gone Kid at 33-10. He reports that Real Gone Kid is in a very good space, expecting a very good run. But Justin Snaith didn't hold back. Rio Karari's done enough at home. He's done enough at home to make a winning seasonal debut, expecting big things from Rio Karari as Justin.
I do respect Rio Karari. He's a top-class sprinter, 6-time winner. So he is the horse to beat, 61 on his back. However, the first run after rest is the one that concerns me, as Real Gone Kid has had the run and he won a super easy race beating Rock and Ringo. So he will be my first choice in this race. He's an improving 4-year-old son of Snitzel. He received 3 kilograms from Rio Karari. So I think that he could just get the better of the one horse Rio Karari.
No, this time I'm not going to go against you. I think it's there's a distinct possibility that Real Gone Kid's fitness may get him ahead of Rio Karari, but obviously Rio Karari is a champion sprinter for a reason. And then there's the grand old man, Casimir, in the lineup as well. It's only a 5-horse lineup with a scratching of Hawker Typhoon, but you can't ignore totally Casimir's chances. So Rio Karari, Casimir, and Real Gone Kid in a very competitive Pinnacle race over 1,100 metres. And then the last word from Justin Snaith. He's very bullish about number 5, Steinbeck, in race 9, which is just a maiden plate. The scratching of number 4, Sage King, makes his task of winning this 3-year-old son of Silvano going in the right direction. He's a short-priced favourite. Louis Mkotwa rides number 10, Clap of Thunder. That could prove to be the principal threat. But when chatting to Justin Snaith, he said, if you're looking to banker in the last leg, have no fear. You'll get a very good run for your money from number 5, Steinbeck. So lots of quality racing action. Not big fields, but huge quality at Kenilworth, Saturday the 4th of December, when the headliner is the Grade 1 World Sports Betting Fillies Guineas.